A very good evening. We are coming to you live from our Pocket Hill studios here in the capital, Harare. This is the main news. I am Tanaka Mnyenyua.
And I'm Justin Mahlala. We are joined by Piswe Zomunyika at the Sign Language Desk, and later on, Meridin Gwenya will join us from our Montrose studios in Bulawayo. And these are the stories that we are leading with tonight.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa charmed by construction works at Gwanda State University's Epoch campus.
In business news, World Bank arm IFC pledges to support Zimbabwe's economic growth trajectory.
And in sport, Black Mambas and Chegutu Pirates face off in a Northern Region Division 1 title decider. That is it for the headlines. We'll now take a look at the news in greater detail. Gwanda State University Chancellor President Emmerson Mnangagwa has capped 34 students at the institution's second graduation ceremony in Filabusi.
This Friday, Gwanda State University held its second graduation ceremony at the main campus at Filabusi. The graduation ceremony was held under the theme towards developing an innovative human capital for industrialization in line with Vision 2030. A total of 34 graduates were conferred with degrees drawn from two faculties, which are the Faculty of Engineering and Environment and the Faculty of Natural Resource Management and Agriculture.
Graduates spoke on the need for collaborative efforts and the incubation of research projects in community development.
I think when I go out there, since the whole vast lithium that has been found in Zimbabwe, I think maybe kind of designing our plans, coming up with the best ways of processing the oil and corn.
So now you have to go out there, make your world be the best, make sure that everything that you learned and whatever that you're going to research upon, and make it blast out there.
I believe I'll be able to assist in the mining industry at small scale and medium scale to upgrade them to large scale.
Driven and guided by the heritage-based Education 5.0 model, the university is committed to investing in infrastructure upgrade to promote sustainable development in communities.
The envisaged state-of-the-art engineering laboratory and innovation complex with cutting-edge equipment and technologies will result in improved critical skills training and impartation of knowledge to students as it leverages them to positively contribute to the development of the nation. Research output is also expected to increase, coupled with development of prototypes and tangible products.
Gwanda State University, which started off as a college affiliated to the National University of Science and Technology, NUST, became a stand-alone university through an Act of Parliament in 2016. The university has a total of 510 students and specializes in animal and veterinary sciences, irrigation, mining, environmental engineering, and ecosystem restoration.
Gwanda State University envisages to have a total of 7 faculties at the main campus, which are earmarked to spur economic growth in the mining and agricultural sector in Matebeleland South region. Yolanda Moyo, ZBC News, Filabusi.
Now, President Mnangagwa has been charmed by the progress made so far in the construction of Gwanda State University's Engineering Laboratory and Agro Innovation Complex, among other facilities which are at various stages of completion.
It is exactly a year after the Chancellor of Gwanda State University, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, laid the foundation stone at this institution of higher learning, signaling the beginning of construction works. After capping 34 graduates this Friday, President Mnangagwa told some of the projects to track progress in relation to work being done to ensure the university has amenities similar to other state universities across the country. President Mnangagwa was impressed by the increase in number of graduates, urging the institution to expand faculties and programs.
Gwanda State University is one of the young universities we have in the country, but I'm happy that it is growing. Looking at the geography where it is situated, This development is expensive, but I guarantee the Vice Chancellor that she will receive my maximum support for development of this university. And secondly, I'm happy that the number of graduates are increasing. Last year with a smaller number, this year a bigger number than last year. Also, I believe that she's going to continue to extend the programs available at the university so that even this region can have similar facilities in terms of courses and programs as other universities in the country.
The head of state also pledged his support to the university in expanding its infrastructure.
The infrastructure, there's still a lot needed to increase infrastructure at this place, but I'm happy that the Vice Chancellor is very focused. I see that this year facilities are better than the facilities which were there last year, and I congratulate her.
The institution is converting the Epoch Mine infrastructure to housing for staff and student accommodation. The agro-innovation complex is expected to boost the university's livestock head while supporting health sciences as well as research and innovation capacity. The engineering laboratory and innovation complex will have modern equipment which is key in mining engineering. Bruce Chawanda, SBC News, Philabus.
The presidential borehole scheme has received a major boost after the arrival of more equipment to ensure every community has safe and clean drinking water.
The arrival of the equipment for the sinking of about 4,000 solarized boreholes under the Presidential Rural Development Program is in line with the target of 35,000 boreholes to guarantee provision of safe water countrywide. The program is being spearheaded by the Zimbabwe National Water Authority, ZINWA, through a contractor, Prevail International. The consignment of pumps and solar panels comes at a time when over 3,000 boreholes have been sunk this year in various rural communities, while urban areas have also benefited.
Tagamushira nearly 4,000 pumps, which means tinenge tine 4,000 magardens achabuda apa. Tikutasira kuti mamwe achauya zvakare, and target yedu since mapamba asvika hatisina chekumirira. Takungobora tichiisa mapumps nekuisa magardens.
The program seeks to modernize rural livelihoods in line with the rural industrialization drive.
Hatisi kutarisira kuti vanhu vange vachita mvura yekugoja. Saka mukuru wenyika akakurudzira kuti tichiisa masola kuzvibhorani zvese, whether ndezvemutauni kana ndezvekumaruzevha. Saka panapa iko zvinezvi tine masola akawanda zvekusvika nearly kuma 4,000 boreholes ezvo masola ari pano. Saka tirikutarisa kuti chirongwa chedu ezvinezvi hachina chichatimisa nekuti material yese yatinotarisira kuti zvibhorani zviitwe tanayo.
The Presidential Rural Development Program, which involves provision of potable water, addresses Sustainable Development Goal number 6, which also speaks into sanitization and hygiene. The Presidential Borehole Scheme has also come in handy in urban settlements such as Harare and Chitungwiza, where the local authorities have fallen short in providing safe drinking water. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
The construction of Mutoko biodiesel and cooking oil plants is progressing well, with the pilot project almost complete.
The plants are being constructed by Final Engineering on behalf of the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development. Government is satisfied with progress at the plants, which will have capacity to produce 3,000 litres of biodiesel and 5,000 litres of cooking oil per day. The special advisor to the President on monitoring implementation of government projects, Dr. Joram Gumbo, was on an assessment tour of the projects this Thursday.
I therefore look forward to the day when your biodiesel will lead to significant reduction in the price of conventional diesel on the local market, and your cooking oil will become the brand of choice in our supermarkets. I am pleased that the National Biofuels Policy has been developed to guide the long-term sustainable development of the biofuel sector in the country.
Mutoko Rural District Council is excited about the development, which is expected to spur development in the area.
The production of the biodiesel and cooking oil is something that is going to contribute towards the GDP, our own local GDP, and ultimately the GDP of the Mashonaland East province. And above all, I believe that they are going to employ many people here at this site.
So far, a 100-hectare jatropha plantation has been acquired in Mutoko, while 6,000 hectares have been leased in Mudzin. The biodiesel plant will also utilize jatropha seeds from local farmers, while cooking oil will come from contracted sunflower growers in the area. Gerald Sasa, BC News, Mutoko.
The country is saving millions of dollars and energy through the prepaid smarter metering system after close to 1 million meters were installed countrywide.
The Zimbabwe Electricity Transmission and Distribution Company, ZETDC, has rolled out its prepaid meter upgrade program to enhance efficiency and enable customers to continue vending on the platform. Launching the program in Harare Squadzana suburb this Friday, ZETDC Acting Managing Director Engineer Abel Chidzidzi explained the scope of the ongoing project.
We are coming to a time where we have to reset, like I pointed out earlier, is giving the meter a new lease of life, where the algorithms that are within this, the organization system and those that are within the meter should be able to speak to each other. So when we give out a token, this meter should be able then to read this token and juice up your meter. So if we don't do this, then the meter post the 30 years will not be able to recognize this meter and will then reject that, and you won't be able to vend.
Engineer Chidzidzi noted that the introduction of prepaid smart meters has saved the country millions of dollars through promoting energy efficiency and reducing electricity transmission and distribution losses.
We have seen serious savings, and it's actually in the region of millions of United States dollars that we have managed to recover through this exercise of smart metering.
Since the introduction of the prepaid meter program in 2012, close to 1 million meters have been installed countrywide as government puts in place measures for a smart grid. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
Zimbabwe is exploring new avenues of cooperation with Cuba based on the sound relations between the two countries dating back to the 1950s.
Zimbabwe's Vice President Comrade Kembo Mohadi had a busy schedule in Guinea-Bissau on the sidelines of the West African country's independence celebrations. Some of the engagements include a meeting with the Vice President of the Council of the State of Cuba, Honorable Silvado Valdez Mesa, where a number of issues concerning the development of the two sister republics were discussed. Briefing the media after the talks, Honorable Mesa said Cuba and Zimbabwe are enjoying the benefits of their relations, which are set to be enhanced in the field of human capital development, business linkages, trade and investment, amongst others.
In sectors such as education, healthcare, and also in other domains as well. Those are relations at the highest level in political subjects. In the matters of cooperation, our bilateral relations have been very stable.
Vice President Mohadi said Zimbabwe is keen on technology transfer in sugar processing, sports science, medical training, as well as science and technology.
You will recall that Cuba is one of the largest sugar producing countries. And I did say to him that that technology is the technology that would need transferred to us. We also talked about sports. Cuba is big in terms of sport. We would want actually to have a memorandum of understanding between our Minister of Sport and the Minister of Sport in Cuba, so that we have exchanges.
Earlier, the Prime Minister of Cape Verde, Mr. Ulisesi Correa de Vel, paid a courtesy call on Vice President Mohadi, where the issue of cooperation in various fields was high on the agenda.
We had quite a lot of bilaterals, and more so based on the fact that the ambassador has been to Cape Verde several times. And we have found some areas of cooperation where we can cooperate as two countries, especially tourism, trade, and and also exchange of technologies.
Meanwhile, the Vice President has sent a message of condolences to the families of the 22 people who died in a road traffic accident which occurred along Bulawayo Bridge Road on Tuesday evening. Sifiso Spanda, ZBC News, Guinea-Bissau.
Now, across the Zambezi to Zambia, opposition politicians have bemoaned the shrinking democratic space after a spate of arrests in which citizens and key political players were apprehended for expressing divergent views.
The recent crackdown on opposition political members in Zambia has been condemned by political actors who have described it as a low point in terms of political intolerance against dissenting voices. In a telephone interview with ZBC News after his release from police custody this Friday, alongside Socialist Party leader Fred Mwembe, Patriotic Front Secretary General Raphael Nakachinda said Zambia is in political regression.
The proximity of our current president in view of the political party elites that has enjoyed support and sponsorship from the Brent Trust Foundation, which is basically a political wing of the Oppenheimers and other imperialist organizations. Okay. And we know that the Brent Trust Foundation, we had or still have the likes of Chamisa and others as members. So it is those concerns that we raised that have triggered these trumped-up charges that have been leveled against us, and that is the status quo as it is now. So we're waiting for this to get to court.
He also spoke on the need for Zambia to retrace its regional diplomatic stance.
As it were, the region and the globe has been very slow in picking the details of the activity of this dictator, who is a puppet of the West here in Zambia, on the basis of the fact that these very powerful imperialist organizations also control the media, and the narrative around Zambia has been one. We have been calling on this president to slow down and uphold the principles that our founding president Kaunda and other presidents that came before him upheld in making sure that our relationships with our neighbors are healthy.
President Hakainde Hichilema's administration is facing mutiny, with vocal loyalists such as Joseph Kalimbwe announcing in a statement this Thursday that he is withdrawing his support for the ruling party. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
Back home, the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa's efforts to ease the plight of vulnerable groups is receiving overwhelming support from individuals and corporates.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa's Angel of Hope Foundation, has been providing valuable support to marginalized and under-resourced communities. Through a charitable foundation, the First Lady is spearheading various projects across the country to empower vulnerable groups, including persons with disabilities, the elderly, widows, orphans, and children living and working on the streets so that they become self-reliant. Her educative and healthcare initiatives have been commended for molding a morally upright society as well as fostering a healthy nation. In a show of support for the First Lady's humanitarian efforts, a group of business people who grew up at Tongogara refugee camp in Chipinge donated an assortment of groceries to the Angel of Hope Foundation for onward distribution to the needy. The foundation is not government funded but relies on donations from partners, and the First Lady personally distributes goods received from well-wishers and ensure they reach intended beneficiaries. The well-wishers occasionally donate to Tongogara refugee camp as part of giving back to the community, handing over the consignment comprising 100 boxes of exercise books, 100 cases rice, 100 cases sugar, 200 cases salt, 10 boxes of pens, 200 cases tissues, 150 cases juices, and 150 boxes of biscuits. The group representative, Mr. Parfati Naimana, highlighted they were compelled to lend a hand in support of the First Lady's commitment to enhance livelihoods of the less privileged. He also thanked the government of Zimbabwe for the countless opportunities accorded to refugees.
I and my colleagues, we managed to bring these goods to support the Angel of Hope Foundation, which is in the hands of Her Excellency Dr. Auxillia Mnangagwa. We come from different countries. Some of us come from Rwanda and some from DRC. And we were raised in the Tongokara refugee camp. As the government of Zimbabwe gives the opportunity to everyone without saying Zimbabwean or foreigners or refugees, the leadership of Zimbabwe gave us the opportunity to come to work with the Zimbabweans and the other people in the society. So we all managed to come and start small business. We are now grown in a different business. So we thought in the support we were given by the government of Zimbabwe and the leadership, we said, no, we have to participate in what is happening in Zimbabwe in terms of helping and supporting each other. So our message to Her Excellency Dr. Auxillia Mnangagwa is that we are with her anytime, as the government of Zimbabwe is with us every day. We thank the Zimbabwe community. Since we've been here, we've never been harassed by anyone. So we feel at home.
In a speech read on her behalf by Dr. Tapazo Mguti, the First Lady expressed gratitude for the kind gesture, highlighting no gift is too big or too small in easing the plight of the needy.
Today, I'm humbled by such a thoughtful gesture that enables me to continue carrying out my philanthropic work through Angel of Hope Foundation. When I started the Angel of Hope Foundation back in 2018, I had the vision to assist where I could and to assist those living in the periphery of the societal structure, be it gender-based, economic, geographical, and even demographical. With this donation, you have also touched the lives of the elderly in geographically remote areas, the young, orphans being housed in orphanages across Zimbabwe, and our children living and working in the streets, our widows, to mention but a few. No donation is too big or too small, as the demand for the presence of the Angel of Hope Foundation is ever increasing. The foundation's main values are to help the marginalized in having a fair chance of attaining better lives for themselves. We are also passionate about the access to the health care to those in the remote areas and the empowerment of the elderly and women. In that regard, the Angel of Hope Foundation has broader reach as it covers the entire country.
The Mother of the Nation has mobilized a project empowerment center for victims of drug abuse, which offers medical rehabilitation services, and beneficiaries will also benefit from nutritive food availed by partners. Festus Mkonguru says, ZBC News, Harare.
For more information, do remember to visit our website www.zbcnews.co.zw. Remember to interact with us on our X handle at ZBC News Online, Facebook ZBC News Online. Remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, ZBC News Online. Here are stories still to expect.
In business news, World Bank arm IFC pledges to support Zimbabwe's economic growth trajectory. In sport, Black Mambas and Chegutu Pirates face off in a Northern Region Division 1 title decider. Those are the stories to expect in this bulletin. Stay tuned. We'll be back. mark of solid cooperation, a testament of Zimbabwe and China's
Welcome back. You're still watching the main news. Thank you for staying with us. In news just in, former Midland State University MSU Vice Chancellor Professor Ngwabi Bebe has died. He was 81. In a condolence message, President Emmerson Mnangagwa said he was left devastated by the news of Professor Bebe's death this Friday. President Mnangagwa described him as an outstanding teacher and scholar through whom successive generations of historians passed, all to subsequently make great names for themselves in their own right. And at various institutions in the SADC region and the world at large, he said he worked with the academic at every stage from the inception to the development of Midland State University as a full-fledged multi-departmental institution which grew steeped in the national ethos.
The president added that together with Professor Bebe, they transformed the MSU from being a preeminently academic-oriented institution, as was the tradition then, to being a research-led and solution-driven tertiary education center that is also driving national development. As a nationalist and academic, Professor Bebe was associated with numerous research projects and publications which provided an alternative narrative of the country's history. As he expressed his deepest and heartfelt condolences to the Bebe family, President Mnangagwa said the whole nation mourns and pays deep respects to Professor Bebe, who has since been conferred with a national hero status.
May his soul rest in peace. In our next update, Zimbabwean embassies across the world are set to get a facelift after government signed a memorandum of understanding with a Swiss company for refurbishments.
After meeting President Emmerson Mnangagwa on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in 2022, Mabitech's group representatives were impressed by Zimbabwe is open for business mantra being spearheaded by the Second Republic. The Swiss company has been exploring ways to invest in Zimbabwe, particularly in the tourism sector. The group has gone to seal a partnership with the government of Zimbabwe in giving the country's embassies and chancelleries across the world a facelift after signing a memorandum of agreement this Friday. The group's General Counsel and Director of Business Development, Mr. Korab Toplika, says the agreement will support the country's image-building goal under the National Development Strategy 1.
You'll be happy to know that these properties that are a national treasure to the Republic of Zimbabwe and to the people are in safe hands. Mabitex is a global conglomerate that has been dealing with some of the most important landmarks around the world. We've done a few UNESCO World Heritage Sites, including the grand renovation of the Kremlin after the fall of communism in the early 90s, to things like the Theatre La Fenice and all sorts of other landmarks in Central Asia, North America and in Europe.
Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Ambassador Frederick Shava added that the signing of the agreement signifies a powerful alliance and a bold step towards the achievement of collective goals.
We are getting newer properties, and second, we are going to benefit from what His Excellency the President has allowed us to do, that is to create in the ministry a maintenance unit which has all the critical personnel and which can look after the properties without too much bureaucracy.
Image building is a key component of the NDS-1 as the Second Republic strives to promote brand Zimbabwe. Olin Andori, ZBC News, Harare.
The European Union Electoral Observer Mission has issued its final report on the August 23 general elections, commending the peaceful environment which characterized the plebiscite.
The EU Observer Mission report noted the peaceful election environment which prevailed throughout the process, despite delays in access to ballot papers in some constituencies.
While election day was largely calm, it was assessed as disorderly. The late opening of hundreds of polling stations extending into the next day seriously impeded some citizens' right to vote.
The mission dismissed assumptions that it has the prerogative to certify elections.
It is not our job nor our commitment to give any certification of the elections. We cannot, of course, declare something like you asked, nor in a sense nor in another. Our job is to follow and to, of course, observe all the different phases of the process. It's up to the Zimbabwean government to decide if you want to follow the recommendation we express, and if you want to engage with the European Union that is ready to provide cooperation, technical assistance on the recommendations.
The mission recommended that space be opened for women participation in elections.
Was also seen as a kind of reduction of the space of participation for the ordinary constituency, in the sense that if you look at the numbers and the statistics in the previous electoral elections, harmonized election, there was more participation of women in the ordinary constituency. They I would say, the directly electing one, and of course this give the feeling somehow that despite maybe the noble intent.
The EU Observer Mission, which had around 200 observers in the country, is one of the many organizations that responded to the invitation by the government of Zimbabwe for the August 23 general elections. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
We now cross over to our Montreux studios. Marilyn Gwenya is on standby with more. Good evening, Marilyn.
Good evening, and many thanks to you, Tanaka and Justin. And now in our following report, a funeral service has been held in Bulawayo for the 22 people who perished in a road traffic accident that occurred in Esigodini along the Bulawayo-Beitbridge Highway on Tuesday evening.
A somber atmosphere engulfed the hockey stadium in Bulawayo as the bodies of the 22 accident victims lay in coffins at a memorial service held this Friday. It was an emotional moment for the families who lost their loved ones in the Bulawayo-Beitbridge Highway accident this Tuesday.
Let's not blame it on anyone. What happened was meant to happen. Akula muntu okukhozileyo, akula muntu othaba ngakho. We are also sorrowful.
Bengifisa ukuthi ngabe kuthiwa government yangenela isincedise ngemigwaqo.
Bengicela abalesintu sabo umuzi lesintu kuyedonswa ihlahla laphana umuntu mayize iphume emochali donsa ihlahla lihambe lekhofini esiya emzini wakhe kuze sivulela abantwana indlela zibe zinhle saphinde sikhale futhi.
Chief Mourner and Permanent Secretary for Matabeleland South Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Mrs. Lato Dlamini Maseko, said each family will receive $2 million Zimbabwe and a 50 kg bag of maize to meet burial expenses.
Once such an occurrence happens, government takes over. This then becomes a state-assisted funeral. With that, for this particular funeral, we are going to have coffins, we are going to have transport to their various places of the destinations where they are going to rest.
The Bulawayo community observed a minute of silence at the funeral service in remembrance of the accident victims. Lisa Masuku, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
A 2-week military training exercise by the 5th Infantry Brigade in Shurugwi has come to an end, with top military personnel saying it was a huge success.
Military training exercise, which was carried out in the Midlands province, was meant to impart contemporary warfare skills on the military personnel. Senior commanders in the military hierarchy have been impressed by the success of the training exercise.
Hondo dzema-insurgency
dzematerrorist ndidzo dziri pamusoro-soro, saka tanga tichigadzirira mauto e5 Infantry Brigade kurwisa nekuti tibvise mhandu dzinenge dzauya.
My troops are now better placed than they were before this exercise. We feel troops should always exercise so that they are current in their mandate as to defend the country.
Over 2,000 community members benefited from free medical exercise that ran concurrently with the military training program.
Pane chinonzi kuwina hearts and minds the community mamunenge muchioperata muri. Mauto edu madhokotera akarapa vanhu vanokwana 2,000 pachena, asi zvikuru sei vakarapa kuoperata kubvisa tsinga dzinenge dziri meso yana baba na vana mai. Vakagona iwo kuoperata tsanga idzodzo kuma patients varwere vanokwana 111.
Hii program yokuti kwekurarama kwose zvachirega kustopiwa, varamba vachiita keroni nokuti basa ramauto iroro ronakidza munyika, harina dambudziko. Vose vakabvapo unoona vachiti mauto akanaka, hautukwi, haunzimwi, unongovhunzwa zvakanaka zvinyoro.
The military training exercise was witnessed by the communities of Chirumanzu, Shurugwi and Shavane. Tafara Chikomera, ZBC News, Shurugwi.
Communities in Matabeleland South have been encouraged to be environmental stewards in their areas to mitigate climate change.
Mvutu High School in Matabeleland South Province was the venue for the pre-National Tree Planting Day campaign being spearheaded by the First Lady, who is the environmental patron. In a speech read on her behalf by the Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Dr. Evelyn Ndlovu, the First Lady implored communities to take the afforestation exercise seriously.
As the patron for the environment, I have personally committed to lead in this pre-National Tree Planting Day commemoration campaign nationwide, ahead of the national launching ceremony, which will be conducted by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, on the first Saturday of December 2023. I therefore urge leadership in all sectors of society to demonstrate this environmental stewardship so that the whole nation appreciates the value and the need to conserve trees and forests.
The Forestry Commission praised the First Lady for leading afforestation initiatives.
Amai, everywhere she goes, she emphasized the need of making sure that we protect our forests. We are also conducting tree planting in almost of the schools. Our target is to ensure that we reach the 9,000 schools across the country. So this then will then call upon stakeholder collaboration.
Chief Gwebu impressed upon members of the community to protect forests at all costs.
Izihlahla ziqakathekile kakhulu. Izihlahla ngabe kazikho, iningi lethu ngabe kasikho emhlabeni. Imithi esezibhedlela yenziwa ngezihlahla. Izihlahla asizihlonipheni.
The pre-national tree planting launch saw 100 beefwood, which will act as windbreak for the school, 50 ornamental trees and 50 exotic fruit trees being planted in Umzingwane district ahead of the tree planting season. Grace Sibanda, ZBC News, Esikotini.
And that's it from myself, Marilyn Kwenya, and the Montrose crew for tonight. Main news continues from Pocket Hill Studios in Harare. Tanaka is on standby. Tanaka, it's back to you.
Thank you very much, Marilyn, and the whole team at Montrose. In our next story, the office of the Master of the High Court is swamped with property wrangles in the wake of revelations that more than 50 cases are being handled every week.
Inheritance and property wrangles are tearing families apart, with some cases turning fatal. This comes after twin brothers from Harare Mabvukuseba Bulayono and Lincoln Mafunga were convicted for refusing to vacate a disputed family property. A follow-up to the office of the Master of the High Court in Harare this Friday revealed worrying statistics, with more than 50 cases being dealt with on weekly basis.
On average, we are having to handle about 50 cases each and every week throughout the country involving inheritance disputes, which we try to resolve through dispute resolution meetings that we conduct, and also through letter writing to executors, giving them directions on what to do, and where necessary we even make phone calls to certain individuals, advising them on what to do.
Mr. Mtasa also encouraged the public to take control of their property before they are incapacitated.
We need to have proper estate planning whilst we are still alive. We have a chance to write wills. Wills will assist in reducing incidents of misunderstandings, because people tend to respect what has been written by the deceased.
Experts laid out some of the ways the citizen can secure property rights, including registering their estates, writing wills. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
Now shift focus to regional and international news. Fighting raged on in the Gaza Strip this Friday, nearly 6 weeks after an unprecedented attack by Hamas sparked retaliation by Israel, which has vowed to destroy the Palestinian militant group.
Reports say Israeli troops carried out building-by-building searches at Gaza's main hospital this Friday after a communication blackout in the Palestinian territory compounded fears for civilians trapped inside the facility. Al-Shifa Hospital has become a focal point for Israeli operations in northern Gaza since soldiers raided the complex on Wednesday, hunting for a command center allegedly operated by the militant group Hamas. Hamas and hospital managers deny the charges, and there has been international concern about the thousands of people, including wounded patients and premature babies, believed to be inside. The Israeli army claims to have killed at least 5 militants in Jenin in the occupied West Bank, as Hamas admitted a number of its fighters were killed in the overnight raid. Most fatalities have, however, been among non-combatants, with Israeli officials claiming that about 1,200 people, mostly civilians, were killed in Israel during the October 7 attack and around 240 taken hostage. On the other hand, Hamas officials in Gaza say more than 11,000 people, mostly civilians, have also been killed.
Zimbabwe's drive for investment growth attracts the World Bank. And I'll look at business after this break.
It is a hallmark of solid cooperation, a testament of Zimbabwe and China's unbreakable friendship, which is rooted in a shared past and fortified by contemporary experiences. The Zimbabwe-China Traditional Chinese Medicine and Acupuncture Center at Barirenyatwa Hospital is yet another product of such unyielding bond between Zimbabwe and China. Established in 2020, the Traditional Chinese Medicines Acupuncture Center is the largest in Southern Africa. The center offers free and high-quality acupuncture services.
There are 10 doctors.
Welcome back. Now in business, Zimbabwe's driver for investment growth has attracted the interest of the World Bank private sector arm, the International Finance Corporation, which has pledged financial and technical support.
A 3-year Zimbabwe Investment Policy Promotion Program funded by the IFC is in motion as part of efforts to restore local and external investor confidence in Zimbabwe. IFC Senior Operations Officer Mr. Kobina Daniel says a rebound in project approvals is setting the tone for improved business confidence.
There's been good progress, and we expect that we will continue to make progress.
Entrepreneur Ms. Victorine Bokengo, who was part of a Germany investment mission that was in the country in the past 2 weeks, exploring business opportunities, also described partnerships between government and the IFC as crucial towards more foreign direct investment inflows.
We have many areas of interest, which is mining, hotel and hospitality, solar energy industry. We would like to invest in those industries as well. I think the opportunities we have seen are tremendous, and we look forward to investing in Zimbabwe.
The IFC also revealed a commitment to assist the Zimbabwean government to institute more reforms after the introduction of a one-stop shop for investors, tax breaks for new projects, waivers on import taxes, and state taxes on capital equipment. It also includes a reduced regulatory costs, amendment of the Indigenization Act, and efforts to stamp out corruption. Based in Washington, D.C. of the United States, the IFC is a global financial institution that provides investment, advisory, and asset management services to bolster private sector growth in developing economies.
And that's business. It will be an eventful weekend in the entertainment sector, which will be headlined by the Miss Universe pageant in El Salvador.
Covered in cowrie shells to represent womanhood.
The major highlight in the showbiz circles this weekend is the World Beauty Contest to be held in El Salvador this Saturday, where Zimbabwe will be represented by Brooke Jackson. After making it into the top 10 of the preliminary competition, Jackson will be hoping to go a step further come Saturday. In the music circles, Mutare is the place to be this weekend as superstars Japraiser, XQ and Felinandi perform at Motoring Club. Saint Flo, who recently launched a new album, will be at Pakari Pai in Norton for his Rise and Lead tour to promote his latest offering. He will be supported by Delroy Shewe.
Fire, 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 fire.
Gospel music lovers will not be left out, with award-winning musician Everton Mulalazi billed to perform in Mutare at Queen's Hall. Patience Nyagato, SABC News, Harare.
President General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga has officially commissioned Singwango 1 primary school piped water scheme and a nutritional garden, ending a water crisis facing the biggest district in Matabeleland South Province.
Learners at Singwango 1 primary school were ferrying water to school up until their plight caught the attention of Vice President General retired Constantino Chiwenga, who commissioned a piped water scheme and a nutritional garden at the institution this Friday. The Vice President implored the Singwango community to utilize the infrastructure for enhanced food security.
Tauya kuno kuti tizoona basa rakaitwa namachiwenga vauya kukuno ndoko vakaberekwa mudzimai wangu Francisca Mini vari panapa kuti tizoona umsebenzi waenzwa umkosikazi laumalume kuti yena waenzani lo owazalwa konapa uminenhle wazalwa konapa kiinesigabeseni. Machiwenga vakataura kuti kuno kwatakaberekwa mvura inonetsa uyezve ini ndakauya kuno kakati wandei tichiona kutambura kunoita mvura kuno, nekuti vana pavanenge vari pazvikoro kana mumisha mamakagara vana mai nana baba munonetseka nyaya dzemvura, kurima magadhe ekuti mupe vana zvine utano hwakanaka kana yasvika nguva yechirimo zvinombotinetsei. Saka vakauya vakacheresa bhoho nekuisa masola nekuita garden.
Vice President Chiwenga also thanked the Insisa community for giving the Second Republic another opportunity to transform livelihoods through various developmental programs.
Those who have managed to rise to the occasion must always have a social responsibility to look after where they were educated. Whether they went to school during the difficult times, but they must also raise then their legacy in that area will also go in hand in glove with the status they will be having in society.
The developmental project has been met with excitement by the local community.
The two of these buildings were also constructed in 1939. Its enrollment is 458, being accommodated in 14 classrooms.
Vice President Chiwenga also donated seed for the community, which relies on farming from the Evergreen's Lalajani irrigation scheme. He also pledged computers and a vehicle for the Insisa District Education Office.
Lawrence Trusida will be giving us sports news shortly. Stay tuned.
Good evening once again, and thank you so much for joining us on Sports News on this beautiful Friday evening as we get to give you what has been happening through the day. My name is Lawrence Trusida. We start off with good news coming through from Rwanda, where the Zimbabwe senior men's national football team, the Warriors, were back in training this Friday ahead of the crunching encounter against Nigeria on Sunday.
Warriors boycotted Thursday's training session, demanding their bonuses and allowances. Friday was, however, a different day as everything went back to normal, with the Warriors returning to training ahead of the crunch encounter against Nigeria on Sunday. The players chose to focus on the match ahead.
It's been almost 1.5 years we didn't play together. This was our first competitive game, so taking a point away from home in different situations, in a difficult situation also, it was something that was positive. Of course, there are some touches that we need to handle for us to prepare for the next game, but overall I think the game was all right. The guys did very well, and we fought a good fight.
Legendary former Warriors captain Peter Ndlovu also watched the team as they went through their paces. Zimbabwe drew 0-0 with Rwanda in their first match on Wednesday, while the Super Eagles also shared the spoils with the Lesotho in a 1-0 draw on Thursday. The other two teams in Group C, South Africa and Benin, clash in Johannesburg this Saturday.
Away from the World Cup qualifiers, but staying with football, all eyes will be on Fupajena Stadium as Chegutu Pirates clash with Black Mambas in a top-of-the-table clash in the Northern Region Division 1.
The two teams are separated by just 2 points going into the penultimate match of the season. The match has drawn interest across the country as there is in march to separate log leaders Black Mambas and second-placed Chegutu Pirates ahead of their clash at Fupajena Stadium in Chegutu. The two sides have scored 33 goals this season, while Chegutu have conceded 9 goals, with Mambas letting a goal less than their rivals. Going into the big match, the home side clearly have the momentum after reducing Black Mambas' lead from 7 points to 2 points within a month. Last weekend, Mambas dropped points after going down to Erentos at Motor Action Sports Club, while Pirates beat Omnia at home. A win for log leaders Black Mambas will guarantee them Premier Soccer League football next season, but that could be put on hold if Chegutu Pirates emerge victorious, which will see the battle for promotion going into the final weekend. Pirates, however, know that even if they beat Mambas, they will still need to negotiate past a stubborn Erentos side in their final match of the season. This Saturday, all roads lead to Fupajena Stadium as Dzindzare Zaire host Warumwa. Another interesting battle is shaping up in the Eastern region, where the top 3 teams can all gain promotion to the PSL. Either Bikita Minerals, FC Wango Mazodze, or Tenax FC will be playing Premiership football next year, but the eventual winner will only be known this Saturday. Last year, Green Fuel were confirmed champions with 5 games to go after going through the season undefeated, but the script has been different this season as the top 3 teams have a chance to gain promotion. Log leaders, Bikita Minerals, who have 56 points, will be traveling to Rua for a date against unpredictable Graham FC. Second-placed FC Wango Mazodze, who are just a point behind log leaders, will feature in a Mashingo derby against Rengo FC at Maramba Stadium, while third-placed Tenax in the 10 relegation wanted JM Busha FC. Bikita Minerals need an outcry victory to claim the title, and any other result will leave them depending on what transpires in the other 2 matches to secure promotion. Wango Mazodze have a healthy goal difference that might come in handy should the teams end with the same number of points. Tenax seem to hold the cards as they appear to have an easy assignment against struggling JM Busha. In the Central region, it looks more likely that Tier 1 will return to the Premier Soccer League as they have a 6-point advantage over second-placed Tongogara with 2 games to go. This Saturday, the Wi-Fi boys host mid-table MSU at Ascot Stadium, and a win or a draw will see them being crowned champions. Tier 1 might not even need all that as they have a healthy goal difference, and any slip-up by Tongogara will hand them the title. Tongogara take on a tricky FC Platinum developmental side at Gresham Stadium in Zhishavane. In the southern region, teams are just playing to fulfill their fixtures after RNL Movers were crowned champions 2 weeks ago.
Still with football news, fans, friends and family members gathered at Bulawayo's amphitheater to bid farewell to football legend Raman Gumbo during a memorial service.
Calls for recognition of football stars while they are still alive were the rallying call at the funeral service held in honor of the departed football legend Raman Gumbo, who died last week. It was a celebration of a life well lived at Gumbo's memorial service as fans and colleagues went into a frenzy, chanting Highlander slogans in remembrance of the late football legend.
He was also a joker. I mean, everything which he come out from his mouth, it was just a joke. It started making us laugh, right? I've never seen Raman angry.
He coached me whilst I was at Motor Action. I was the captain of the team. We even won cups with him. We even had a run-up medal with him at Motor Action. He brought a new culture when we were there. I think general love and passion, to have passion in the game, because if you are passionate, then you enjoy that game.
Highlanders Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Ronald Moyo, reiterated how the history of Highlanders cannot be written without mention of Raman Gumbo, a true testament of the legacy he leaves behind.
He's the only Highlanders son to win the championship as a player and as a coach. It is difficult to document the 97-year-old history of Highlanders Football Club without mentioning the name of Raman Gumbo.
The funeral service was held a day before the football legend is buried at Lady Stanley Cemetery, where Gumbo will rest alongside other football greats like Adam Ndlovu. Grace Sibanda, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
May Dr. Rasa so continue to rest in peace. Moving on, second from bottom, Black Rhinos are still confident of surviving the chopper as the Premier Soccer League continues. The Army side travel to Gweru for a date against equally troubled Shisham this Saturday.
Black Rhinos are second from bottom with the 2 matches to go before the end of the season. The Army side need nothing short of victory in their match against Shisham this Saturday to avoid the dreaded chop. A victory in Gweru, however, will not be enough for survival, as Rhinos will have to fight until the last match day. Despite their precarious position, Black Rhinos are still confident of survival.
They are going to come strong. We'll be at home, but we'll be playing at their home grounds. So to us, it's going to be something else, but we are not looking at that. We just have to prepare like what we are doing for the match.
Their opponents, Shisham, are banking on home advantage to collect maximum points.
After that setback last week, when we thought we had grabbed 3 points, the boys this week came back strong.
Shisham and Black Rhinos are in the drop zone, with the Army side second from bottom on 32 points, while Gweru-based Shisham occupy the last relegation slot with 35 points. Crampon Bullets have already been relegated, and they face their year's champions against the Platinum Stars at Baobab Stadium this Saturday. The other team in the drop zone, Triangle, host Caps United, seeking a victory to try and rescue their season. ZPC Kariba, who are just above the relegation zone, host Simba Bora in an all-important match as both teams are still in danger. Yada, who are not yet safe, travel in Bulawayo for a date against Chicken Inn, who are not only targeting a top 4 finish. The last match of the day will see FC Platinum hosting Wange at Mandala Stadium. Sunday sees Hirentals hosting Bulawayo Chiefs at the National Sports Stadium, with the visitors still involved in the relegation matrix. The last match of the weekend will be between Highlanders and Manyika Diamonds, who are all chasing the wooden spoon.
So that's your weekend sports diary. Definitely, we hope that you choose the best place to go. That's all we managed to have for you in sports news. It's now time for the weather.
Thank you for joining us. It is time for your evening weather report in focus. My name is Benjamin Kwaramba. Well, it was generally sunny and warm in the morning, but by afternoon, cloud began to creep in, and we had some partly cloudy conditions in some parts of the country, as seen in the satellite images received this afternoon. Scattered cloud across Zimbabwe there, but more concentrated over the southeastern corner of the country. Tomorrow, we do not expect much change, where all areas should be generally under sunny conditions, but expect some fair weather cloud over Matabeleland North, Bulawayo Metropolitan, and Matabeleland South. While the remainder of the country, all Mashonaland provinces, including Harare, Manicaland, and Masvingo, should be mostly sunny, mild at first, becoming warm to hot by afternoon. Now, for the temperatures in detail, the capital city, Harare, expect a minimum of 15 and a maximum of 29 degrees Celsius, 16 and 33 at Bulawayo. Gweru 10 and 31, Mutare 15 and 30 degrees Celsius, Kwekwe 15 and 32, Kadoma 13 and 33 degrees Celsius. Masvingo expect a minimum of 12 and a maximum of 31, Chinoi 16 and 33. Lupane very hot in the afternoon, 37 maximum, starting off 14 in the morning. Bindura 16 at first, 31 maximum. Marondera 10 and 28, 15 and 35 is expected at Gwanda. Victoria Falls, 35 maximum, starting off 20. Same for Kariba, 35 maximum. Great Zimbabwe, the ancient city, 12 and 31. Nyanga, 8 and 25. Matopo, 16 and 33. Chimanimani, 16 and 28. Day after tomorrow, again, not much change expected, but cloud expected over Matabeleland North, Matabeleland South, while the Midlands should have fair weather cloud, while areas to the east that include Mashonaland East, parts of Harare and Manicaland should be mostly sunny, mild at first, becoming warm to hot by afternoon. That does it in tonight's edition of the Weather Report in Focused. Have a fabulous weekend.
Thank you very much, Benjamin, for the weather report and forecast. Wrapping up the main news for tonight. From the entire ZBC News team, pleasant viewing and good night.
Good night.
From the midst of happenings, our teams commit themselves to bring you more than just the headlines. No holds barred national debate. Inside out as we delve into trending issues in the world of business. 24 Investigates leaves no stone unturned as we bring the policymakers to face the nation